Alright, so for our Zorro custom, I've taken a Jedi Luke, I think this was the Walmart exclusive, and cut off his vest except for the sash here, because Zorro wears a sash. With the riding boots and all black costume, I figured this would be perfect for a base Zorro. The Iron Man 80th anniversary head is an amazing likeness to Don Diego de la Vega. However, it's a bit of a bobblehead next to this figure. It seems a bit large, and so because those Iron Man figures and those 80th figures are upsized a little bit. So what I'm going to do now instead is to just do a custom paint job on him, make his hair black, eyebrows black, and give him a little moustache. So I tried heating and popping this head also, and the disc hinge that the ball peg is attached to is trying to tear apart. So I'd rather just repaint this than destroy the neck peg. So we're just gonna bypass that step. This is a Cowboy Bob Orton hat. It stands too tall, so I'm gonna actually trim it down just a little bit and make it the appropriate height, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So stealing obviously Deadpool's sword for my Zorro figure, and then we stole the gauntlet that was on his arm and we put it here on his arm. And then I saved a piece of his jacket or vest or Jedi robe or whatever that is that I cut off, and I'm gonna wrap it around his other arm and paint it, and this will be his gauntlet on the other side. I have a Kylo Ren that I have been dismantling for parts for various builds, so we're gonna use his black gloves for old Zorro. So to get the cowboy hat the right height, I just cut along the top of the gold band and then pulled that part off and then stuck the hat back inside itself so it would be nice and short like it's supposed to be instead of tall like a top hat. So I manufactured the other cuff, but it's not behaving, the super glue's not adhering, so I've super glued it again and taped it. I'm gonna leave it alone for about 30 minutes or so and come back to it. Alright, so this stupid thing is refusing, the super glue is not bonding for some reason. So I'm going to attempt the hot glue. Alright, so I whittled away the top of his head, and now I'm going to put this on here to get the fit that I want, and then I'll glue that down. Alright, so I took a piece of vinyl and cut it out and then punched some holes in it with this little monstrosity right here. And my 2-year-old's helping me over there. But anyway, now I'm gonna try to peel this off and stick it onto his face. Alright, so we have the vinyl mask on there. Now I gotta go paint his hair black. Alright, so I cut myself out a template and paper. And then, just like construction paper, I just drew it by hand. The little thing around here is gonna go tuck behind his little chest plate. That's gonna pop off and it's gonna tuck in behind it, and I'm gonna reseat it. Alright, so I have taped down the edges, the perimeter of the template onto the cloth. And now I will go back and cut around my template. Alright, well, I'm debating on whether to paint Tornado or not. So this is just straight up from the factory Toy Biz Ring Wraith horse. So I'm thinking about going back and painting him black. If you look at a black horse, there is a little bit of red, brown shining through their black coat, so this is actually accurate. And I like the speckled mud everywhere, you know, it's kind of a cool effect. So I don't know, I'll decide that later. But I went ahead and fashioned him a whip, and it's pretty cool. And also So for the recipe, it was a Luke Skywalker base, of course. The Jedi robe I cut up to make the sash. Then I painted the head and got a Randy Orton or Bob Orton hat and chopped some of the hide off of it and lowered it down. To make the hat, I cut an extra little cuff piece off of the bottom butt flap of his Jedi robe to make the cuff for his sword hand. And then I stole the hands from Kylo Ren for his gloves because they have that sword rocking motion, which I wanted, you know, him to be able to go up and down with the sword. And so that's why I chose that route. But yeah, we'll move in and get a little bit closer look here at some of the detail. The saddle, which I think looks really cool, kind of has a classic Spanish look to it already. The only real difference is this cloth over the mane, over the neck. But Tornado is supposed to be a wild, crazy, very much not tame horse, so I was cool with kind of having some more drastic, wild looking details on there. I think it's a nice touch. Looking at the figure itself without the horse, we'll just kind of come in close here. So you can see his eyes there, cut eye holes in the mask, painted his little moustache, and glued the hat on. Went ahead and painted his hair black, and I just popped the chest piece off and tucked the cape in and mashed it back on so that the cape would tuck in there nicely. So you can drape it down across in front of him if you'd like that look, or you can throw it back over his shoulders. So lots of versatility there. If you have a Black Series Luke Skywalker figure, you know the articulation, and it's pretty much the same as Marvel Legends. So we get an awesome ankle pivot. We get a rocker that works really great. And you need good foot and leg articulation with a sword fighting character because you're going to have a lot of dynamic posing to do. And so you're going to need that functionality and everything there. So definitely a plus using this particular buck as the base. So he's got a diaphragm joint, which will give him some side to side and some front to back. Legs will kick 90 degrees, and they actually go back fairly far, which is good. Like I said, you need that dynamic range. You do get a cut at the thigh with this figure, and you can almost go heel to butt with this guy. So really great articulation range, which you're going to need for your sword fighting dynamic poses there. So then of course we do get a 360 rotation here at the shoulder. Arms go up very high so you can bring them up and back down. You know, lots of fencing poses able to be achieved with this particular figure. We have a single jointed elbow because we have a swivel, it's a peg on a hinge is what I meant to say, but that joint will swivel around in there. So that gets you your forward and back and your up and down, real dynamic there. And then of course I've already mentioned the getting the sword to be able to point straight out and then come back really far. So I have this massive gauntlet on here from Deadpool, which looks a little silly, but so I'll probably just manufacture another cuff and take this big old beast back off. I just kind of liked the way it looked temporarily. But he is a little bit smaller of a figure. The Black Series figures are on the small end of the 1/12 scale. So you're going to have your accessories and stuff for like your Marvel Legends. They're kind of mid-range to larger. So they are going to be a little bit too big for it. But anyway, love the figure. I'm really pleased with it. And the only thing I would have loved to be able to do different is to get that Tony Stark 80th anniversary Iron Man head on here. But the base of the neck peg was about to snap in half, even with heat on it, and I couldn't get it to swap over without tearing it up. So I may try again later at some point. And but in the meantime, I think this will do just fine. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know what you think of the figure. Let me know if you've tried your hand at making a Zorro figure, what recipe you used, how it worked for you. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.